Welcome to Shelby's Crafty Books. Here you will find book-related videos with an artistic twist. On the weekdays, I like to upload shorts, and every Saturday I would like to upload a full-length bookish video. Today's video, I'll be going over the books I read in January. I will also be painting a bookmark to look like the cover of Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. Let's get started. Book 1, The Healer's Apprentice by Melanie Dickerson. This book is a non-magical retelling of Sleeping Beauty. Set in 1300s Europe, the story follows Rose as she struggles with her feelings for two noblemen. Meanwhile, one of the noblemen, Wilhelm, is trying to find the person who's trying to harm his betrothed. But as he keeps running into Rose, he falls more in love with her. I found this book to be a nice and sweet romance, with just a dash of Sleeping Beauty. It was a great read about Rose as she struggled through her experiences, and matured into a better person. It was also fun to read Rose and William's pining for one another, and if you ever wondered what it was like for women in the 1300s, this book does show a glimpse of that. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. The second book I read, listened to, was Steal Like an Artist by Kleon. It gives you 10 different ways to develop your creativity. I found this book very helpful as I am on a journey to become a better artist/crafter. It made me feel less self-conscious about my art. I gave it a 4 out of 5. The third book I read in January was The Cure by K.A Riley. It is a dystopian book that follows Ash as she must spend a year in a place called the Ark to gain a cure for her family. This is due to an illness that is running rampant throughout the country. There she discovers the horrors in the supposed utopia that is the Ark. This book had an interesting premise, following a dystopian society towards the beginning of its existence. A nice change of pace from most books, as it seems to always happen years after the fact. The protagonist, Ashen, struggles with hope, both in her goal and in humanity. Sadly, the book is taken down due to its subpar romance. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Book 4 was another audiobook, and this one was Show Your Work by Kleon. It is 10 ways to get your art discovered by others. I found it very helpful for both showing your art to the world and anything in general. It helped me not to overthink and just create and share things. Also, it helped me not to get discouraged over my work not being seen. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The fifth book I read in January was The Iron King by Kagawa. This was actually a Kindle read. This is a fantasy story that follows Megan as she goes to the Fae world to find her brother, who was taken and replaced with a changeling. There, Megan encounters the Seelie and Unseelie courts, and discovers the Iron Fae. This story had an interesting setting, and I especially liked the Iron Fae's lands. My favorite characters were Puck and Grim, the cat, which they were very fun to read about. And I felt the ending fight scene was really cool. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The sixth book that I finished in January was Keep Going by Kleon. It is 10 ways to stay positive in both good times and bad. It really helped me find ways to stay motivated, and I felt like it was great for both artists and non-artists alike. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The seventh book I read in January was A Gentle Hope. It is the second book in the Hope Ever After series. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It follows a girl named Laura as she is trapped in a castle by a fairy godmother. There she meets other residents, people who have fallen on hard times and are given a second chance to live in the castle. There is also a cursed prince there who Laura befriends. Laura is a great main character. It was entertaining to read about her as she's trying to find ways to escape the castle and all of her friendships that she makes along the way. Especially her friendship with the prince, which is super sweet. He has already learned to be kind, but Laura teaches him to be friendly and interact with others on common ground. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The eighth and final book I was able to finish in January was The Merchant's Daughter by Melanie Dickerson. It is set in the 1300s England and is a Beauty and the Beast retelling with no magic. The book follows Annabelle as she becomes a servant to pay off her family's debt. It shows how she interacts with others in the manor and her growing relationship with the lord of the house. Annabelle is saved by her friend from being attacked by someone. and she becomes a suspect when her attacker is found gravely injured. The most interesting part of this book to me was showing how investigations and court cases were held in the 1300s. The romance between the Lord and Annabelle was also very cute, but the conflict seemed to stretch out and then got resolved very quickly at the end. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. So those were the 8 books I read in January. Now let's get on to the books that I will be reading in the beginning of February. This will not be all the books I plan to read in February, just the ones that I plan to hopefully read and maybe even finish in this coming week. Now for the reads. To start off with, my physical book will be Awaken, Book 2 in the Chronicles by K.A Riley. For my Kindle read, I will be reading Curvy Girls Can't Date Bad Boys by Kelsie Stelting. And for my audiobook, I am listening to Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I'll see you next time.